Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines, where indeed we are a live news show for movie fans, where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day. What's going on with that SAG Strike? It's the Monday, so we're going to be talking about the weekend's box office report. Barbie's been blocked in some foreign countries. We'll talk about that. We got a couple of MCU headlines to take a look at. Some really cool Two-Face practical makeup footage. What's all that about? Well, yeah, we'll take a look at that all today here on Mirror Domains Movie News. Let's start off by talking about that first story. SAG, Screen Actors Guild, extends studio contracts. Now, guys, as you know, it was June 30th was supposed to be the strike date for the Screen Actors Guild. So that day came and went, and they were going to go on strike, but apparently they've extended their contract negotiations deadline till July 12th. July 12th. So just looking at the schedule here, that's not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. So they got another 9 days here to negotiate, because it's a long weekend there in the States, because what is it, July 4th, right? So yeah, people are taking a break, and I guess that warranted extending it, which is, a good thing, I suppose, because that'll allow them just a few more days to try to hammer something out. I hope that they do. Again, this could be down to just that jockeying of kind of like using time as your weapon kind of thing. Are we going to inch closer towards it? I'm going to strike, that kind of posturing where it's kind of like, I think they are going to go on strike. I think what's going to happen is that they'll go on strike with the writer's strike going on for now 2 months. I'm hoping that'll give enough leverage that the powers that be will have to acquiesce, and some concessions will be made on both sides. I'm not saying it's got to be all actors and it's got to be all writers and stuff, but there's got to be some middle ground that they got to come to a consensus on, right? The agreements, which were set to expire 11/59 will now expire on July 12th. So there you go. The parties will continue to negotiate under a mutual agreed upon media blackout. Neither organization will comment to the media about the negotiations during the extension. So there you go. We knew that this was going to happen, right? We knew that this was going to be coming down the works here. It's going to be a really funky time because, they will go on strike. I'm hoping that it'll be resolved optimistically by the end of July. That's optimism talking for you right there. Byfer says hello in the live chat. Chris Schober says, interesting. Hey, how's it going today? Well, it's going good. We're just getting in the day's show here, and just looking at the SAG strike negotiations being extended. It's just something, as movie fans, hey, we got to keep our eye on this, because this will affect movie news. This will affect productions if they go longer. Worst case scenario is that these things get dragged out till 2024, which will shelve a lot of things, man. Deadlines will get pushed. Remember, like last month, we did a whole bunch of things about Star Wars and MCU dates getting pushed around. Well, those will get pushed back even again if everything goes on strike, and it's just, that's not going to be good. So we'll keep our eye on this as the story develops, and we'll have to be aware that if things start to come apart, then we'll be tracking that too, because there'll be very little that we can do. And don't worry, there'll be things that we can do here on the channel. If there's no movie news and stuff, we'll be doing watch-alongs and stuff. Maybe I'll finally sign up for Apple TV Plus and we'll watch Silo together. I'm feeling like that's probably something that we're gonna do. We're gonna do something really cool if something happens. Like if there's just not that much availability for content, but we're still in it. And there's still movies coming on in the theater, so we're going to be talking about that. Speaking of which, it's Monday, so it's time to talk about the weekend's box office report, with Indiana Jones coming in at the number 1 spot but not by very much, guys. Not by very much. We saw that it was 60 million yesterday. Those numbers got adjusted because it's a long weekend here in Canada and I think somewhere in the States. But internationally, yeah, Hollywood Reporter is saying that Indiana Jones 5 bombs with 2.3 million in China. Again, studios hoping out that international markets will help this thing along. So, not good for Indiana Jones. Let's go over to the Box Office Mojo and take a look at the top 5. Okay, so for the weekend of July 30th to the June 30th to July 2nd, the top 5 were: number 1, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 2 was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 3 was Elemental. Number 4 was No Hard Feelings, hanging in there in the number 4 spot. And number 5 was Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So number 4 and 5 didn't change. The only other new release was Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken from DreamWorks. One of the lowest openings for DreamWorks ever. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's just go in at the number 1 spot with Indiana Jones coming in there at 60 million. But when we look at the numbers here, it's actually saying 82 million because in some markets, Indiana Jones opened up early. It opened up like on a Wednesday in the UK, I think. Yeah. And then, of course, we got the long weekend here in Canada. So that's an extra 3 days there for that. I think it's a 4-day weekend in the States because they get July 4th off tomorrow or something like that. I don't know how it's going to work. And it's also summertime, guys. So kids are out and matinees will be going full steam ahead at the theaters every day from now on. So it should be higher than that. 152 million worldwide. That's not good with a budget of somewhere around, well, they're saying 29 million, 295 million there. Some people are just bumping it up to 300 million because it just, well, let's just say if it had a $300 million budget and it just grossed 152 on its opening weekend, numbers are not going to go up. These numbers aren't just going to, it's not going to have like 90 million next week, right? We know that. So it's going to probably have like a 50, even if it has a 50% drop, it's going to have 40 million next weekend because the only saving grace for it is that it is only going to be going up against, well, no, it's going up against Joyride this week. It's going up against Insidious, The Red Door, Insidious 5, which I'm hearing no buzz about. So it's going to have a little bit of grace. You know what may happen here is that, no, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I was about to say that. Maybe that'll jump back into the number 1 spot. But no, that's like 5 weeks now. It had its second return to glory there for 1 weekend. Indiana Jones, yeah, that'll get down to about 30 million next week. That'll hopefully retain the number 1 spot because Insidious Red Door, nobody's talking about that. I don't think that's going to make more than 30 million. I think Insidious Red Door is probably going to make around 10 million. And Joyride, that raunchy comedy, I think maybe will be around 10 to 15 million as well. So those will be number 2 and 3. The people that saw Indiana Jones, including myself, came out and it was like, it was fine. Critics were 68%. It's kind of like, well, it happened. We got another Indiana Jones film. Was it as terrible as Crystal Skull? No. My full review is up on the channel right now, guys. So you want to see how I felt about it, you can go check that out, and by all means. So Glass Viking says, so you could strike effect the Ahsoka series, or is locked into the release date. Yeah, Ahsoka series, I think, is going to be locked because it's all in the can. It's done. As far as the strike. Pfeiffer says, new Transformers movie made more first week box office money than Indy 4 Dial of Destiny. Yeah, it did. A Weaver says, hi, guys. Hey, just wanted to pop in and say I'm still alive. Schedule changes have made it hard to make it to the lives. Oh, no problem, A Weaver. No problem. Yeah, it's cool to have people chatting in the live chats, especially with the new system that we got up and rolling. Chris Schober says they just released a new Liam Neeson movie 4 days ago on YouTube called Retribution. Oh, yeah, we watched that trailer, Chris. We were missing it with you all. Yeah. So there you go. Indiana Jones, I think, sadly, is just going to be another one of those movies where it's going to come and go, and it's going to be a monumental bomb. Because if it had a $295 million budget, it's plus marketing, let's say 395, 400 million with marketing, right? Now that's not counting what theaters are going to take percentage wise. So say 500 million, 550 just to start to break even with a budget that's so grotesquely high. The studios, I've ragged on this for weeks now, guys. They got to stop greenlighting budgets like this because it just doesn't make sense. And if you can't film it for like 100 million, then don't greenlight it. I know they're looking at metrics that say that somewhere out there, they're looking at metrics that say, oh yeah, there's people that want to see this movie. Oh yeah, it's fine. Oh, the budget's going to go to 200 million. Oh, don't worry about it. Indiana Jones is a proven entity. It's going to make $1 billion easy. Well, unfortunately, we've had a track record over the last, 5 years, 6 years, where we've been burned as audience members, right? With these retreads, with these like Matrix Revolutions and or whatever that one was, the fourth one and stuff like that, where they've done these add-on ones where it's kind of like, yeah, we didn't need to do that. We didn't need to go there again. We should just left it for dead. And for every little case out there that there's like one good one, like I like Bad Boys Forever, but it was kind of like, did we need to do that again? Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny is going to go down in the history books as one of those ones where it's kind of like, did we need to do that one again? And did you need to do it for $300 million? That's the thing. Did you need to do it for $300 million to put that amount on the line? Yeah. So we'll move on. The only other new release that opened up, well, actually, let's take a look at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the number 2 spot, because that was 600 million now, and that's pretty much where it's going to end up. It's probably going to end up capping out around 650 to 675 million, and that's good because this had a reasonable budget of around $100 million. So it's just a success, but it's not going to be $1 billion success. I'm hoping that Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning could be $1 million success. I hope it will be, but Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse there in the number 2 spot. That's good. Elemental was close to flip-flopping with it there with only 200,000 there in the difference. No Hard Feelings hanging in there in the number 4 spot. That's good. I like Jennifer Lawrence. You know that I like that film, guys. I had fun with Transformers Rise of the Beasts as well. 7 million hanging there in the 5th spot again, but for Transformers, that had a $200 million plus budget. It looks like it's going to... Transformers is going to have enough internationally, I think, to have it cross the break-even line in the 5th spot. But yeah, domestically, it's done. It's run. Ruby Gillman and the Teenage Kraken. Did you guys know anything about this? Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken flops at the box office. Bummer. DreamWorks marking record low for DreamWorks. This was counter programming in my books. When I saw the trailer for this, okay, so she's like a teenage Kraken, and her adversary, the bad guy in the movie, is a mermaid. And we just had the Little Mermaid in the theater. So counter programming, while the mermaid's a hero in one movie, the mermaid's the antagonist in this movie. Plus, I don't know. If you saw the trailers for it, it was kind of like, meh. What is this? I know it's supposed to be a coming of age feel good story. Around $70 million to develop. They're saying right there. That's reasonable for an animated film. You would expect to make your money back on that, but 5 million domestically, 7.5 internationally for 12.7 worldwide on a $70 million budget. That is a grotesque, monumental bomb. It used to be that if you made a kids movie and it was animated with computers, you could easily make $100 million. But it's not like that anymore. You've got to be putting. It's not that they're not putting forward good stories, because we've seen Spider-Verse succeed as an animated film. Elemental was another great quality film, one of the better movies of the year, in my opinions, and it's underperforming. People just aren't going to see it. I don't know if it's the abstract concept of like Elemental or having a kraken as one of your main characters, but people just they're not going out to see it. And the few that are coming out saying that it's good. The few that came out of Elemental were like, yeah, that was a good movie. Like it's looking like people coming out of Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. Maybe it's the title. Maybe it's marketing. It's just I can't postulate these failures because it's summertime. Go to the theater for like air conditioning and have some popcorn. Watch just a kind of like a fun little romp. But it's kind of like it's not happening. Observer UK says a slight story of teen crisis. Somebody who didn't like it, New York Magazine. The look of Ruby Gillman has a TV cartoon cheapness, but its frames are cluttered with all the manner of objects and elemental odd design. So there, the design. Almost as if the filmmakers hope we don't notice how basic and uninspired everything looks. Well, you took a swing. And it's a miss. It's a miss for Indiana Jones making $60 million, and it's a miss for Ruby Gillman 5.2. Chris, there you said maybe it was, or A Weaver said it's a bad title. Maybe it is. Maybe Ruby Gillman is not the way that you should label it. Because what do you learn from that, right? Ruby Gillman. Teenage Kraken. Yeah. It's a bummer, and he's got to roll with those punches. DreamWorks, you're gonna have to eat that. Anything else that came out this week? Asteroid City's going along. Nobody's talking about it. I had fun with it. I know that it wasn't for everybody. That Wes Anderson film that came out last week. I like the production design. I like the acting. Scarlett Johansson was good in it. That's not doing anything at the theaters. What else is Everybody? Only in 225 theaters. I don't know what that is. And The Flash, dropping from the 3rd spot all the way down to the 8th. The Flash, in its 3rd week, guys, out of the top 5, and people are scrambling to. This is going to be another bomb. A huge bomb for DC. 245 million, and this had a budget of around 250 million. So it would have to make around 500 million to break even, and The Flash is going to be another monumental bomb. People are trying to, once again, why is this happening? Ezra Miller says media coverage was biased. Biased to what? What are you talking about? Saying that what? Let's just see what they said here. Took to an Instagram statement on Friday. I'm encouraged by today's outcome and very grateful at this moment to everyone who has stood by me and sought to ensure the egregious misissues and the protective order system. Okay, so I'm not going to read his stuff because he has done some bad things, but I implore those members of the media who have recklessly spread false claims and failed to accurately report the truth and the context of this story to hold themselves to a higher standard and take time in facts rather than chasing the clicks. Yeah, but unfortunately, you made yourself vulnerable to those situations where, yeah, you are going to be a subject of the clickbait system. And I know it. I know those stories got clicks. I didn't cash in on it like most people, right? A. Weaver says, I think they granted that the franchise will show up regardless. That's not necessarily the case anymore. Yeah, about Indiana Jones. Have you done a trailer reaction for Dune Part 2? No, I haven't. People want to make sure that make sure people want a sure thing going to an expensive showing. Yeah, all movies, regardless of quality and length, are at the same price. Yeah, so if it's just me going to the theater and I want a popcorn and a pop, that's like $27 just for me, right? So if you got 2 people, that's $50. Can we finally get back to mid-budget films? I hope so, Bifer. I hope so. Like even the smaller ones, like No Hard Feelings. No Hard Feelings had like a $45 million budget, I think. And it's just $49 million now. That one will cross the line of breaking even. And it'll do really good when it goes out onto the streaming services. Uh, that raunchy comedy with Jennifer Lawrence. It'll have some other things going for it that people will be talking about it. Transformers, yeah. So there you go. That's pretty much the weekend's box office, guys. What do you think about those? A Weaver says we all knew the Flash was doomed. Heaven help Aquaman. The franchise is a mess. Yeah, and we'll have to wait and see because Aquaman 2, I think, is going to be the end of the official end. Like of maybe the people said that in Flash, he said, I've been to many other different universes, but in every other universe, Jason Momoa is Aquaman. That's what he said in the post-credit scene, right? Or something like that. So it's kind of like he'll always be Aquaman. Is that what you're saying? In all the other different universes? I don't know. So even when James Gunn reboots the DCU, it could be with Momoa as Aquaman, but it's kind of like that. I don't know. I think he just kind of had to change course. Yeah. All right, guys, that's the weekend's box office report. What do you guys think about some of those numbers? Were you surprised? Did you want Indiana Jones to make like $120 million in the opening box office? I sure did. I sure did. Arglass Viking says Jason Momoa totally stole the show with Fast 10. I have high hopes for Aquaman 2. I hope so too. Because Aquaman 1 made $1 billion. And that's the kind of like the marketing metrics that people are looking at when they greenlight these budgets. It made $1 billion before. Stands to reason it should make $1 billion now. Should it? The Flash will have a few things. The Flash had Ezra Miller's controversy. Aquaman's going to have Amber Heard's controversy around it. So we'll have to see. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah, exactly, Weaver. It really feels like that, right? We know that they're going full on board with whatever James Gunn decides that he wants to do. We know that. So when the new Superman Legacy comes out in 2025, we'll have to see if all the things fit together. We'll have to see. All right. Let's continue on. Let's talk about Barbie. Barbie comes out this month in, less than 19 days now, right? Barbenheimer is what some people are calling it. Barbenheimer? I don't know. But Barbie's been blocked in some countries. So let's take a look. Barbie banned in Vietnam over map showing China's claims in the South Sea. That's enough. Yeah, again, that part of the country, part of the world, you have to be very sensitive with maps and what you say about certain countries because you will get banned. They censor this thing really hardcore over there. So it's kind of like even Marvel movies don't get the green light all the time to show up there. But again, I always will say the case that you don't necessarily need China's box office to make $1 billion. Spider-Man No Way Home proved that when it made $1.7 billion and it didn't have the Chinese market. It didn't. Barbie getting banned in Vietnam. Hey, it's just a map. I guess it could be culturally insensitive. So when you're doing these things, you kind of have to be cognizant of that kind of stuff if you want to cash in on foreign market cheddar, right? But Barbie will be fine. It's being actually prognosticated that it's going to be much higher than Oppenheimer in its opening. It's going to beat Oppenheimer into the ground. And I'm going to go see it. Out of the two, because they open up on the opening weekend of the same weekend, between Barbie and Oppenheimer, I'm seeing Barbie first. It's just because, I am a Christopher Nolan fan. Oppenheimer's 3 hours, so I got to make sure I put enough time aside for it. Who knows? Maybe I'll be lucky enough to see Barbie in the morning and then go see Oppenheimer in the afternoon. We'll have to see. Okay. Keeping on with this Barbie comment, let's just see what these comments are. If they're not too awful, then I can read them. It points up that directors and film editors must be sensitive to Asian countries. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I just said. Right decision. Well, yeah, you got to be cognizant of this stuff. Just one more Barbie headline here, where since we're talking about it, Barbie is not going to be the end of what Mattel is up to. Apparently, Barbie is just the beginning. The Mattel has 45 other movies in development based on their toys. So, well, we know that we're going to get a He-Man, right? He-Man reboot. I hope that one's good. I really hope that one's good. And again, I hope He-Man's not a $200 million budget. It shouldn't be. Because if you can't do it, oh, good damn, screen rant, get that out of here. If it can't be, then don't make it, man. Don't make it. Yeah. So they're gonna have more other toys. What other Mattel toys are there? GI Joe, and we know that that's going to be going forward with Transformers, right? If you saw Rise of the Beasts, yeah. So more Barbie. I know Barbie is a huge success. I'm just, I never thought I would be here telling you that I want to see a Barbie movie, but here I am. Bifer says, due to Indy 5 flop, do you feel anybody going to lose their jobs at this? Well, I saw a video on that the other day. Because, again, the executives are looking at these metrics. They're looking at marketing metrics that saying that, yes, there's an audience for this kind of stuff. But it's just storytelling, man. It didn't, as I said, it didn't feel quite like an Indiana Jones film. It was missing something. And I think a lot of it had to do with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I hate to be adding my voice to that pantheon because some parts of it is bigoted, that they just don't like female empowered people. But she was not nice to Indiana Jones. I agree with that. But that was her character, and I don't know. It just there's something about it. Just maybe Mads Mikkelsen was cool. He was. I liked him in this role. Very small, kind of character presence. People were complaining about some of the nitpicks in here. Oh, he got hit by something, so he should be dead. And it's like, yeah, but it's an Indiana Jones film, guys. You can't be dragged underneath of a truck on a whip and come out climbing on the backside, because you would have some serious road rash. I don't care if he's wearing leather. That's not a good enough defense. Plus, yeah. There's some things you got to stretch with, but yeah, we'll see. Who is the cast for Tron 3? We'll talk about that in just a moment there, Chris. Arglass says, I was going to watch Oppenheimer and wait for Barbie on streaming. It's a little too pink for me. Yeah. For me, it's Margot Robbie. I want to see Ryan Gosling as Ken as well. It's the farce of it, right? That's what I want to see. And hopefully it's going to be fun. Yes, executives, we must obey the metrics. All obey. Yeah. And a lot of people will be wagging their finger because it's Lucasfilm. People will be looking at Kathleen Kennedy, like she greenlit this. She wanted to make this, but it was Harrison Ford that wanted to work with Phoebe Waller-Bridge that had brought her in and stuff like that. It wasn't like Kathleen Kennedy said, yeah. She looked at her resume and said, yeah, let's do this. I just, it was not a terrible movie, but it was not great, right? Normally there would be repercussions. Like if you're in the sports realm and you make some really bad decisions as a general manager for the team and it costs you, that would be your job, right? In the movie studios at Lucasfilm, people had speculated that this would be like, as soon as this movie comes out and done, that this will be it for Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. But it sounds like she's fully on board with that Rey film, doing that. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. And if that Rey film bombs, then yeah, she's definitely done. And I would be so sick and tired of hearing people's prefaces. People's prefaces of Kathleen Kennedy did such a great job before. She did she's got a great track record and stuff like that. But look at the track record. Just because you started off good in your season, but you ended such a terrible way your career ended in a terrible way, that few good stuff in the beginning is going to be outweighed by all the bad stuff towards the end here, where with complete box office bombs. But she had episode 7. It's like, guys, something's not right. I mean, you know that something's not right there at Lucasfilm, and I don't know what they're looking at, but it is time for a change in regime there. I think it is, and it's a time for a change in ideologies. Focusing on making good films and not pandering to social media or social commentary. Right? Don't have a story about a guy going to buy some bread for his family, but then inject that with a whole bunch of, well, on the way to the bread store, he's going to have to deal with, equal pay rights for immigrants. I was like, what? No, he's just going to the store to get some bread for his family. I don't need to have all that other stuff in that, right? And that's what a lot of people are feeling about these movies, is that they're trying to do too much with that stuff, and it's just cut that out and do straight movies. Like John Wick Chapter 4 didn't have any of that stuff, and it had a huge success, right? So there you go. It's just a change in the ideology there. That's all I think that's what needs to happen. All right, so where are we at movie news wise? We got one more story here. Now we got let's just talk about this Gal Gadot story. I like Gal Gadot was going to play Cleopatra at one point, then it got put on hiatus. Now Gal Gadot is saying that the Cleopatra movie is still happening, and will change the narrative of the Queen. So again, talking about ideologies, it's just I didn't plan that to happen, but it just, hey, that's how that guy upstairs works sometimes, right? So the movie is still happening, and that it will change the narrative of the Queen. This is one of those movies that's going to have backlash regardless, because they'll be like, oh, you're not hiring all Egyptians to be in this movie. She's not Egyptian. And it's like oh, guys, for God's sakes. They made a movie called Troy with no Greeks in it. Right? Or Trojans. Right? It's like, I don't care. I just want to see more Gal Gadot, because I thought she was perfect as Wonder Woman. Anyway, let's just see what she said about this. Quote, this woman was so ahead of her time. Egypt and what Egypt was back then was still futuristic to where we are today. I can't so much, but to me, I'm so passionate to tell her story and bring justice to this character. And bring justice. And her legacy, and celebrate her and her legacy. We have a beautiful script, and I cannot wait to share this story with the world and change the narrative of Cleopatra simply being a seductor. Oh, is that the angle that they were going to go, that she was kind of like a player? Yeah. Gal Gadot continued, quote, Israel borders Egypt, and I grew up with so many stories about Cleopatra, and she's like a household name. You know, if Wonder Woman is the imaginary strong female leader, Cleopatra is actually the real one. That's a perfect example of a story that I wanted to tell, because I started reading different books about Cleopatra, and I said, wow, that's fascinating. All I ever saw in regards to Cleopatra from film was that she was this seductive woman who had an affair with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But the truth is, there's so much more to her. Yeah, and I'd be on board for a big historical epic, as long as it doesn't cost $300 million, of watching Cleopatra and Gal Gadot as Cleopatra. And there'll be the people out there saying that she can't act, and she can't carry a big blockbuster on her own. But Patty Jenkins was going to direct that, right? But she got replaced. Patty Jenkins, she got thrown off her Star Wars movie. She got thrown off this, and she was replaced. Because they were going to work together, because Patty Jenkins and her did Wonder Woman together. So yeah, who wasn't going to be replaced? She was going to reunite with Patty Jenkins, but is now replaced by Kari Skogland, who did the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Kari Skogland is going to be doing this Cleopatra movie. Yeah, I mean, I like historical epics. I'm really looking forward to Gladiator 2. Really looking forward to that. So, and I like Gal Gadot. So Cleopatra is still happening. I looked at her schedule though, and I just kind of like pre-production. If anything more materializes with like green lights, we'll be talking about it for sure. Chris Schober said, did you hear the rumor that Kathleen Kennedy might get fired because of the low budget of the new Indiana Jones Dial Destiny? Because of the box office? Possible. Like that's going to be the headlines that a lot of other channels, the clickbait channels, will be running with. Kathleen Kennedy must be fired. Kathleen Kennedy's out. She's awful. She's terrible. And it's like, well, I'm just looking at the box office results of the last couple of films. Yeah, some stuff was a little bit questionable. Let's talk about some MCU headlines here. Some MCU headlines. Director who turned down Black Widow drags Marvel movies for a very ugly sound. What? Music is used. The way music is used is actually horrible. So who's this director that turned down Black Widow? We just watched Black Widow actually here on the channel. We did a full live watch along, and we had lots of fun doing that, right? You know that Scarlett Johansson is my favorite actress of all time. So this director, who is this? Argentinian filmmaker Lucrecia Martel was one of the several female directors courted by Marvel for Black Widow. Again, I know there's this inclusive mandate, but just I'm not going to talk about that. I liked Black Widow, but I was one of those movies where it's kind of like, again, with that theme of, did it have to be made? Did we have to go there again? Because it was kind of like a prequel, right? It took place between Civil War and Infinity War, right? And it didn't really add that much to the mythos of the MCU other than establishing Yelena, right? That's pretty much all it did. But she said she didn't like the way that the music was. What the heck? So she said, quote, "It turns out some Marvel films are available on planes, so I've seen a few. I find the sound in them absolutely in poor taste. The visual effects and sound effects, it's a selection of the sounds that they're connected to the effects, which is actually very ugly. And the way the music is used is actually horrible too." Did I not like the soundtrack? Did I call that out? But my thoughts on this are, hey, if you're the director, then you are going to be in control of all that music. So you can say, no, I don't want to use music like that. Unless what you're telling me is that Marvel mandates music that must be used. They take that scoring duty away from the director, saying that, you're not going to be working with the composer. We will be, and we'll decide how this movie gets put together. Is that what you're reading? That's the way I sort of read that headline of what's happening there with Marvel movies. Weird criticism. Just to let you know that that's out there. The other headline here, there's a big article up on Hollywood Reporter about the director of the Secret Invasion series that we're also watching here on the channel. Secret Invasion director Ali Salim on handing off Nick Fury to the Marvels, and current events color the series. So I read this. He goes into him developing this espionage thriller and stuff like that, talking about different scenes in the restaurants, roadie and stuff like that. Interesting read. This is something that's underperforming as well. People just are not watching it. We're 2 episodes in now to it, and I actually am really enjoying it, and I'm thankful that it's only 6 episodes. So go over and read that there if you want some more insight into Secret Invasion. A lot of people aren't, so it's kind of like, Speaking of which, let's just take a quick break here and tell you, on top of the Black Widow movie that we also watched Extraction 2. That's up on the channel right now as well. My review, my reaction for Secret Invasion that we do on Wednesdays. So we'll be doing episode 3 on Wednesday, guys. So come join us for that. My review for Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny is up on the channel right now, as well for Asteroid City and No Hard Feelings. Grumpy Man Reacts Finding Nemo is up on the channel as well. Actually, I got to put together a poll for the July Grumpy Man Reacts video. I might put Turning Red back up on the menu because that came in first place in the last minute, so we'll have to take that into consideration. Yeah. All right. And there are all my other social media handles right there, guys. So there you go. Let's get back into it. Let's get back into Tron 3. Tron 3 adds some more castings. Yeah, there's a Tron 3 coming. Did you know that? Jodie Turner-Smith joins Jared Leto in Disney's Tron 3. Greta Lee and Evan Peters are also on board on the call sheet. So, Jodie Turner-Smith. That's cool. That's good casting, actually. Who starred in 2019's Queen and Slim. Jodie Turner-Smith. Tron Ares is the potential title of what is being called here. Tron Ares. Plot unknown. Joachim Roning is set to direct. 2025 is the release date, tentatively. Again, with strikes and stuff, we just had to take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, Greta Lee, Jared Leto, Jodie Turner-Smith, Evan Peters are Quicksilver, and he just played the murderer there in Dahmer, right? He just played Dahmer in Monsters, which he was really good in. He's a good actor, really good actor. Evan Peters, you'll recognize him if you saw him. Let's see if we can pull up a picture. Yeah, there he is in Dahmer. Very controversial, right? He's going to be in this Tron 3. Jodie Turner-Smith, of course. After Yang. Oh, yeah, she was in After Yang. We watched that, and that got blocked in a lot of countries. That sucked. We had lots of fun watching that. She was in Murder Mystery 2. White Noise. Oh, she was in White Noise. Anne Boleyn, Rita Ora. For some reason, I thought she was in Woman King, but I guess I'm remembering that wrong. She's in The Acolyte. That's right. And that's 7 episodes. 7 episodes, huh? Or she's only in episodes. I thought Acolyte was 8 episodes. Yeah. But we'll take a look at that. A Weaver says, gotta go, guys. Hope to see you again soon. Hey, thanks for dropping in, A Weaver. It's always cool as always. Yeah, so she's got that. Tron Ares and Acolyte coming up. She's going to be busy. What's it going to be about? Is it going to continue on with the Flynn storyline? I don't think so. I think Jeff Bridges is done. So it's just going to be more about maybe AI taking over systems and stuff like that. Who knows if Olivia Wilde is going to come back or Garrett Hedlund. I doubt it. Garrett Hedlund has got the charisma of like a doormat. James, don't say that. Unfortunately, he does. But Evan Peters, good. Greta Lee. What do we know Greta Lee from? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The Morning Show. Problemista the Lamb. Hospital. Yeah, I don't know that much about her. Don't know that much about her work, but no tentative date other than 2025. I can't give you the exact date for Tron Ares, but we got some casting, and this is very interesting stuff. Jodie Turner-Smith for Tron 3. They can do stuff with that. Like that 3D world underneath, like with the computer world. I really like that stuff in Tron Legacy. And the soundtrack, can't get Daft Punk anymore because they're retired. Unless you pay up the money. But then again, that skyrockets the budget. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. All right. Got 15 minutes left, guys. So we got lots of time. Steve-O, And Hollywood Reporter saying that Jackass Forever was kind of a bummer. He explained in a recent interview, "It's not fun to watch Johnny Knoxville get hit in the head anymore. You got to remember, these guys are in their 50s now, right? They're getting up there. Your body just doesn't recover like it used to when you were younger. And yeah, you're 50 years old and you're getting hit by bulls. Yeah, it's your friend. You know, it's funny when you're young. Ooh, you got hurt, but when you're older and you're kind of like, no, that's my friend in there getting tuned up by a bull. It's not exactly fun, right? It's like, oh my God, I hope he's okay. And that scene in Jackass Forever when he gets spun, right? He gets hit and he gets thrown, like wagon wheeled, right? Lands on his head and he was concussed. I think he had a broken rib as well, I think it said. It's not fun to watch him getting in the head anymore, following a brain injury with that encounter with the bull. I wrote this text to the whole cast that day, thanking Knoxville for the sacrifices he's made to the team and also begging that he stops with the brain trauma. It was one more my serious. More serious and sincere messages. Yeah, put your body on the line, but yeah, when you screw around with your brain like that, it's not good. Incident sent him to the hospital with concussion, brain hemorrhage, broken wrist, and rib. Yeah, and I have the highest respects for Steve-O. So when it comes to his judgment on these kinds of things, they were trying to do the passing of the torch to a younger cast. So I would expect that if they do make a Jackass 5, Steve-O and Knoxville and Pontius, they'll all be like Wee Man. They'll all be like background. Like they'll be like helping out with the stunts and stuff, but they won't be actually doing them themselves, I think. They'll do a few, but nothing like getting run over by bulls anymore. You don't want to say the thing that, oh, he's finally grown up kind of thing, but it's kind of like there's just that common understanding where it's kind of like, yeah, you don't want to see your friend die doing this stuff, and because Steve-O and Knoxville they're pretty tight, I would say, right? They've been doing it for so many years, and I had so much the theatrical experience for Jackass Forever was so much fun. People covering their eyes, screaming and yelling at the same time at all the really far out there stunts. That's the theatrical experience. That's fun, and we don't get a whole lot of those anymore, right? It's kind of like, here's the big blockbuster, here's the CGI action sequence. Isn't that great, guys? And no, it's not. And the box office results is saying that we're not okay with that anymore, right? But Jackass Forever was a box office success. So money talks, right? And I respect Steve-O for going down a dark path in his life and reforming and advocating for people with addiction issues to find their way, right? I saw a picture of Alan Alda down here. We saw that he passed on over the weekend, right? Alan Alda right there. Or Alan Arkin, sorry, not Alda. Alan Arkin. Indian Summer. I like that movie with him in it. Yeah. Rest in peace. Okay, so Arglass says, I honestly thought Johnny Knoxville would have made a full transition into comedy action movies and left the antics behind. Well, he was going to try to, like he did that, what was it, something park, action park or something like that, but that still had stunts in it and stuff. And it was not all that good of a movie. But he has shown up in other movies, as Knoxville has. He was in one with, he played like a cult leader in one. where these girls go to a house and like torture other people there, and he's like the cult leader to them. Uh, what am I thinking of here? No, not writer. I want his acting credits. Oh yeah, and he was in SmackDown. Above Suspicion. No, We Summon the Darkness. That's what it was. We Summon the Darkness with Alexandra Daddario, right? These three are like cultists, and Knoxville plays like the ringleader. He can do dramatic stuff. He can, and I'd like to see him do more. I think this one's on Netflix. We Summon the Darkness. Yeah. Yeah, Alan Arkin was great in Argo. Rest in peace, great guy. Yeah. 89, right? He was 89. Okay. Two-Face footage. Let's take a look at this. DC's new Two-Face proves superhero villains don't need CGI. Yeah. I guess Gotham Knights, which is canceled, right? Had their version of Two-Face, and we can see him here. And you know what? That actually doesn't look that bad. A little Freddy Krueger-ish here on the side, but that's the way it would be, right? It would heal over. This is like if Christopher Nolan did Two-Face in the way that, okay, he's burned and his skin is wide open. He's going to die pretty soon from infection. That's the way they played their version of Two-Face. If Two-Face were to be like actually a villain with some kind of staying power, that stuff would heal over and it would sort of look like this, right? Misha Collins, with no CGI. Let's just take a look at this quickly. I thought it looked like not all that bad. Like, that's practical makeup. That looks decent. Would you buy that on the big screen? I don't know if we're going to get a Harvey Dent in Robert Pattinson's Batman. Wasn't there talks that maybe Joel Edgerton was going to be Harvey Dent in Matt Reeves' Batman? If they go that route, and if they do, I hope they go that route. Like, the CGI way was interesting for what they did in the Nolan verse. But I would buy that as well, as long as it had some movability with his mouth. But that means that his mouth is taped open like that, and that's got to suck for sitting there for a long time with your mouth taped open. That's the sacrifice Misha did. So that's his name, right? Misha Collins. I thought it looked interesting, and that's why I pulled this article, right? Yeah, great Two-Face makeup. I think it looks. I thought it looked pretty decent. And you could talk with it. And just as I said, it would suck because to do that. They're taping his mouth like this, right? So that kind of sucks. But you're an actor. It helps you get into character. Just thought it was worth the look. Bryce Dallas Howard. MovieWeb has Bryce Dallas Howard's 15 best movies ranked on Rotten Tomatoes. If you don't know, guys, I am a huge Bryce Dallas Howard fan. And if you don't know, I am also a Katie Sackhoff fan. Katie Sackhoff has launched her own podcast called Blah, Blah, Blah. Blah. And this week she's going to have Bryce Dallas Howard on her podcast. So that's cool. Of course, we know that Katie's worked with her on Mandalorian. Bryce Dallas Howard has directed a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian. So that's awesome. That's cool. I'll be taking a look for that podcast. Are either of you Katie Sackhoff fans or Bryce Dallas Howard fans? Bryce Dallas Howard, I hope she goes on to direct her own Star Wars movie. That's what I want to see. I want to see her direct her own Star Wars. For sure. So, Um, let's just take a look at her best 15 movies. What do you think they are? What's her number one? Do you think it's going to be Jurassic World or Jurassic Park Dominion? Or Jurassic World Dominion? Or Jurassic World? You think it's going to be one of her best? I liked her in The Village. I hope The Village is up there ranked. Ranked up there pretty high. And I like Pete Stragan. Great actress. Good director as well. Number 15, As You Like It. Kenneth Branagh directed romance. As You Like It. Shakespearean. Huh. TV movie? Is that what that is? Made for TV film. I never heard of that one. Number 14, or 14 was Gold. I never saw that one either. With Matthew McConaughey, right? The Village is 13. Okay, so at least it made it there with 43%. It really was ranked that low. I actually really liked The Village. And I know that twist at the end was kind of like lackluster for some people. But I liked it mostly because of the acting from her, because she's blind in this. And I also liked Joaquin Phoenix in this. And the premise, the setup for this was great, too. William Hurt, the late, great William Hurt was in this as well. Hereafter, 47%. That movie sucked. Yeah. Matt Damon was in that. I barely remember Bryce in that one. Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom was 11. Actually, I'm somebody who actually really likes Fallen Kingdom. I like the angle of them using DNA to alter the dinosaurs for killing machine purposes. I like that. And then the whole thing with the cloned human, like they got rid of that for the third movie, right? They just barely acknowledged that. They jettisoned that storyline. But I like that one. Twilight Eclipse. Yeah, she was recast. She came in to replace somebody else's role, right? For that at the last minute. After scheduling conflicts with Rachel Lefevre. Yeah, the original actor was dismissed from the role, and then she came in to fill in. I remember that. Manderley, 50%. I don't even know what the heck that is. Manderley was a 2005 avant-garde film. Okay. A Dog's Way Home, 59%. Spider-Man 3 was 63%. That's the Tobey Maguire one. Yeah, she was the first version of Gwen Stacy. Yeah. Jurassic World at 6 with 71%. Running with the High Heels on. The Help. Oh yeah, she was in The Help. She was one of the antagonists, right? She was one of the cruel wives that was mean to Jessica Chastain. Yeah, she was good in that too. The Help. That was a really good movie. Pete's Dragon and the Fourth. Cool. I like Pete's Dragon. 88%. Maybe we'll have to watch that one. Pete's Dragon. Maybe I'll put that on the... Where's my notes? I'll put that on the poll, guys. Grumpy Man poll. Pete's Dragon. Rocket Man, 89%. Oh yeah, she was in that. Very small role. Rocket Man. Taron Egerton as Elton John. I like that movie. His acting in it was good. She was good in it. 50-50. 93%. Oh yeah, that's that one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I like that one too. She was not a big role in that one though, right? She was like the ex-girlfriend or something like that. Wasn't it? Then she was in Dads. 94% Dads. I don't even know what the heck that is. Long after establishing herself, her directorial debut for Dads. Oh, so that's her directorial debut. James, you profess to be a fan and you don't know her directorial debut? You should be ashamed, James. Should be ashamed. But Bryce Dallas Howard, gets always a reason to talk about her. If I can talk about her, we're going to talk about her. Because she inspires me. There you go. Chris Over says, well, they just had 7 episodes of The Acolyte. Well, I just hope it's worth the hype and time for the show, because if we get another backlash on that show, that would be bad. Yeah, it would be bad, Chris Schober. Acolyte. Like if it turns out that it's supposed to be about a Sith Lord, which was pitched to us, but it turns out to be more about this young Jedi, then people will be angry about that. Chris Schober, because there's supposed to be 8 episodes of The Acolyte, but it seems like they're budgeting down 1 episode. No, I think that was just that one actress's. She was only going to be in. She's only going to be in 7, but I think it was 8. I'm pretty sure. Now season. Yeah, 8 episodes. So that one actress, she was listed for The Acolyte, but she's only in 7 episodes. And we will be doing full live watch-alongs for The Acolyte, for sure, here on the channel. All right. I think that's all we got. We'll be refreshing some other pages. Oh, one more hit or miss headline here. Owen Wilson reportedly set to reprise Loki role in Deadpool 3. What? Okay. A photo of Owen Wilson spotted in London bolsters evidence of his role in the upcoming Deadpool 3. Agent Mobius is going to be in Deadpool 3. Now, I think that would be a very, very small cameo. But I wouldn't put it past them. Fast forward to March 2023, another breadcrumb was dropped. Tara Strong's character, Miss Minutes, was also speculated to be joining Mobius in Deadpool 3. What's even more intriguing is that this has led to speculation that the Time Variance Authority will be making its grand debut on the silver screen. Owen Wilson has been spotted in London, where Deadpool 3 is currently filming. Huh. That's possible. I guess that means that I really need to finish watching the first season of Loki. Because that's something that's coming out too, but no buzz about that one either. No one, does anybody really, again, do we need a season 2 of Loki? Do we need it? Yeah, the TVA are after Deadpool for messing with the timelines, and after Deadpool 2. Yeah, he was messing around with that stuff, right? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right. All right. Where are we at? Let me just refresh my page here to see if any new trailers have dropped. I'm not seeing anything trailer-wise. So we might as well just go over to my Twitter page that's all messed up. Maybe I can scroll out on this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. See if we've missed anything. According to her agent, Greta Gerwig's new look is to move beyond the small-scale dramas she was known for. Her ambition is not to be the biggest woman director, but a big studio director. So, Greta, well, you got your chance with Barbie, Greta. And she's a good actor, too. Greta Gerwig, she was in White Noise, right? Barbie has been banned in Vietnam. Yeah, we know that. Greta Gerwig to write and direct at least 2 episodes of the Chronicles of Narnia for Netflix. Well, there you go. She's getting doors are open for her. 100%. Why is Wonder Woman trending? Why is that? Any news? Not seeing anything there. Okay. Margot Robbie for Barbie press tour. Trailer for Attack on Titan. 4 years ago, Midsummer. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we took up that yesterday. We didn't see that much there, Zendaya. Yeah, you know that one. All right. So nothing there. Maybe we can go over to take a look at some gossip. Let's take a look at the gossip. Sydney Sweeney rock bikini formal looks at more vacation fiance free vacation pics. Well, see that. See, that's clickbaity too, right? I could look at the bikini pics of Sydney Sweeney, but that doesn't serve us any purpose right now. Hugh Jackman is in Wolverine shape right now, and he clawed his way through an epic cheat meal. Oh, good. Good to know. Um, Arnold Schwarzenegger says he and James Cameron once took a wild trip to the Amazon, and it included fan chanting and a monster snake. Well, talking about monster snakes, they are looking at rebooting Anaconda again with the reboots of. Was anybody asking for a reboot of Anaconda? I don't know. Selena Gomez rocks some lingerie in the bedroom days after telling soccer players she's single. What? Is this on her Instagram or something? She's single? Oh, well, if she's looking for somebody to go out with, I guess I can go out with her. I'll step up to the plate and take one for the team there, guys. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. See, this is why I don't usually go to this page because of nonsense like that. This page doesn't really offer that many insights. Let me try going over to Reddit's movie page and see if they've got anything over there. Sometimes they might have a tidbit of information. Robert De Niro's grandson, who acted in A Star is Born, has died. Ooh, bummer, man. Robert De Niro going through some hard times. His grandson dies at 19. You're all heart, James. Selena's a lucky girl. Yeah. I was just joking around about that. Greta Gerwig set to write Cartoon Chronicles of Narnia. We knew that. Daniel Kaluuya's Barney movie is an A24 type of film. Oh, Mattel. Okay, so Barney's Mattel. Well, we got that Mattel headline, right? 50 years on, Live and Let Die could pave the way for the next James Bond. Taking it down that cheesy route again? Maybe. I don't know. Quentin Tarantino says the movie critics start shooting in Los Angeles late September. So he's got his script done, looks like. But if the actors go on strike, nope, that won't be shooting in September. Can we finally get back to mid-budget films? Seems like that just came up in our conversation too, right? With all the bloated CGI blockbusters bombing left and right, hopefully Hollywood gets the message and they start investing in mid-budget films again, somewhere in the range of 70 to 100 million. Give and take back budgets that are allowed to be adult-oriented and R-rated. And they don't need to make $1 billion to break even. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I miss the era of films. Some of my favorites of all time came out of it. Hopefully we will be getting back to it. Here's to the start. That budget, aesthetic, and talent goes towards TV series now. No, but I agree with that. You guys agree with that too, right? That we got to get away from this huge blockbuster BS. No Hard Feelings just came out and has barely made half its budget. No, that's not correct information. And that was 21 hours ago. That's not correct, man. No Hard Feelings just came out and barely made half its budget. Audiences don't want to go to mid-budget anymore. Well, we talked about that, and we have hard evidence that No Hard Feelings was $45 million. Let me just pull up confirmation. Yeah, 45 million. 49 million at the box worldwide, and it's still got, it's going to have some staying power because not much comes out this week. So this argument is false. We'll hit the thumbs down on this one. And some people again just don't have. Oh, so somebody stood up and corrected them. Good. It's currently made 49 million on a reported $45 million budget. This person smells good, sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Mike hates this. It's smaller, so I don't know if it's untold marketing budget, but it's pretty well. Yeah, and it's going to have another couple weeks to stay in the top 10 at least, to rack up another couple million. But yeah, I agree with the sentiment that we got to get back to the mid-tier budget films. Wow. Looking for kid and kid-friendly movies that portrays positive male friendships and masculinity. John Wick. No, James, that's not a kid-friendly film. Elemental, I thought, had some good positive male roles in there. Movies that were huge at the time but are now forgotten. Sam Worthington Clash of the Titans movie made $1 billion. Now, yeah, nobody talks about that one. Liam Neeson's Release the Kraken. The CGI schlockfest. See, look how long back ago. Like, the Kraken was this big, huge CGI schlockfest in its pinnacle, right? Dick Tracy. Actually, I kind of liked Madonna in Dick Tracy. And didn't Al Pacino get like nominated for his portrayal as Big Boy Caprice? I used to have that on DVD, but it got lost when I was moving one time. The Artist? Man. All right. Well, guys, I think that's it for me today. We've gone a little bit over time. That's fine. I'm not seeing that much more here. So I think with that, we'll call it a day. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with more movie news because we're not doing watch-alongs right now because it's still summertime and I gotta wait till my other ring light comes any day now from Amazon so that when I turn on the lights, they're not going to be blasting me with heat. And we still got a few more kinks to iron out with the 1080 stream. But other than that, I think we have been doing okay. I think we've been doing okay. Let me see if I can. Yeah. I think we've been doing all right. All right, guys, that's it for me. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day. You're watching Mirror Domains.